Good afternoon from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, sending loads of love to you as usual. I'll be doing the afternoon nap down here. They've asked me to comment on what I thought about the great Charlie Bronson, my old mucker from way back in the day, right? So I had to go and have a look at it. Channel 4 documentary, well put together, really, in hindsight. I have to balance it up in the right way, on the right scales, right? Fair on both sides. What do we know? We know that now Charlie, for the first time in history, is medium risk, which means to me that Charlie, you are on your way. Firstly though, I have to look at it. There's people coming to me and say, yeah, but they ain't done him no favours. On initial thinking, the old prison head and the way we used to think during that life, I was thinking that too. But on careful inspection, having watched it a couple of times now, his son's done pretty well. But Charlie, listen, first things first, I got to shut you down, right? You can't put Paula up there, give her the limelight, and then come up with all that about alcohol and prescription drugs. You put her up there. Don't come with that, Charlie. I used to think the same way in those institutions with my mind. One little mistake. No, you're out. But in reality, it's not really like that. That was your decision to do that with the lovely Paula. You put her up there. You got to reap what you sow, right? His son, he's done really well. The balancing of probabilities. I'll give Charlie Bronson his due. He done exactly what I did on one of my hearings. I've got to be honest with you, right? When they asked him about remorse and regret and that kind of stuff, he came straight in with an institutional mind. I said, no, hold on, how can you regret the life that you... Classical institutional behaviour. Yes, but he kept it real on that bit. The parole board with all the top Freudians and what my man as well, Freudians and Jung and all that, all the great psychologists from the creation of dawn and history's gone by. They're going to go, oh yeah, but yeah, that's reverse psychology. Because what he's saying is, no, I'm not begging. I'm not pretending to be nothing that I'm not, which he isn't. Because he's been in there, incarcerated all his life. I like the bits, right? The vegetables, the food, the roast dinners, to hear the knife and forks. Because those things matter. They do. When you haven't had them for a long time, they mean a lot in there when you wish that you could feel this and you could feel that and all that kind of stuff. Because I've had the same. And you cherish each little moment, the significance of it when you're going through it. When you're outside, you think, well, hey, but I never knew that I would experience that after all these years. Because the finer details in life that you've missed, you ain't never had to appreciate. But Charlie's on his mind's still a bit more in touch with it. So he's already in touch with the fact that when he gets out, he's going to go, I'm going to enjoy those special moments, you know. Those moments never occurred to me until I was doing those actual things, right? We could say, did they not do him any favours? Did they do him any favours? Right. By the remorse thing and the thing, I have to break it down clinically. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you sat on them boards, you know. If you don't, you don't. Right? There's no way they could do such a documentary and make it all in the great Charlie Bronson's favour. I've got to be honest about that. So they've got to make it because they know that he deserves to be out. A risk to prison staff. A life of violence and fighting back, quite rightly. Another man appears on the show, yeah, but they're in your face. It can happen in seconds and seconds. They're going to test you and all that. We've heard that. I've brought people on the show, Ovi, etc., who said that they put Charlie Bronson in the headlock and he didn't fight back. You know what I mean? Because Charlie knows that he's reaching that stage now. Rightly so. Whoever she was on there says it's a proven fact. When you reach a certain age, you're not going to do all that outside. Your risk is in there when they're in your face. Charlie Bronson hasn't got no history for women, children, and things, the armed robberies and all that. Even I grew out of all that when you understand the error of your ways and victims, etc. Charlie gets all that. So in my opinion, Charlie Bronson gets back out. Just by seeing all that, to me, that's what it means to me. I'm not asking you to believe in what Uncle Yami says, but categorically tell you that if it doesn't work out that way, I will run around there naked outside. But no, his son's done it the best way possible. But again, me and Anthony Roberts was talking earlier, and again, it's very difficult if you haven't been behind the door, right? Where you can feel what's going on with the tension, with the staff in your face after all the things you've done, yeah? All the things you've done, you're making your judgment. Yeah, well, my dad, he's a bit of a, yeah, but I'm not sure, you know what I mean? It could look like that. But that's because they haven't been in that environment, if you get what I mean. It would have been better if somebody would have been able to explain Kevin did the best he could with how he used to see it. You see what I mean? Right? But got to respect the educational teacher, Phil, right? He's saying if he shows remorse, but what he's saying, he's got to show it and document it, not just by way of words. Charlie hasn't done that in that way. You know what I mean? The way the program has expressed it. But at the same time, he feels that he's done enough time for it. A realistic man at the same time. Because during those stages, Charlie's at war with those he believes are out to violate him and victimize him. And he doesn't want to play no part in being a victim. So he fights back in the circumstances, the situations he's in. That's his risk. His risk ain't out here with normal Joe public. He's got no history for hitting women and children and committing crime after crime because he hasn't been out. So obviously it's there. Clean cut, plain to see. Uncle Young, respect to Phil as a victim as well. But I wouldn't look too much into that, Phil. When Charlie says he doesn't regret or remorse, why should I regret what I did in my life? Because I did it. And at the time, I didn't really feel remorse and regret because I didn't have them in the forefront of my mind whilst I was doing it. But he's looking at it in a way that probably I and many institutional recidivists would have thought at the same time. You have to ask him that question when he's out, all right? Clinically and decisively, Charlie, behave yourself, otherwise you get a big lift. But honestly, hand on heart, I balanced it all up, right? Against others saying, yeah, but yummy. No. When you've been there, you know exactly what's been going on. He's not a risk to the general public, mate. He ain't. They know that. They have to drop the risk because they know that they're all things that are done in a prison environment against an establishment that he believed that at the time he was thinking. He's not feeling like that no more because there's nothing to show that those behaviours have been apparent in the last how much years. Do you see what I mean? So in a way, it all mellows out in the end. Everybody gets a little bit older, all right, the system doesn't forget and all that. But in reality, where is the argument? What he can commit outside. You've let other people out that have worse crimes than Charlie Bronson and have gone on to murder people. The one thing we know that's definite is that Charlie Bronson has never murdered anyone. All right? So those clinically, decisively put by the great Uncle Yummy. Loads of love. See you soon.